Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, this is one of the situations that I come across where I'm very interested in finding out what other people's opinions of this are. I came across a situation over two visits to my local supermarket. I observed a young woman and her child acting in a manner that was really beyond rude. And I would love to get you guys' opinions or anyone's opinions on this, whether it's a generational thing where I'm out of time, I'm Generation X and this person would be a Generation Z. It was so bizarre. I have to wonder if it's almost like a mental health issue. Like some people are kleptomaniacs and some people are butt inners. You'll see what I'm saying in a second. Or is it something else? Okay, let me fill you in. About 5 days ago, I went to my local supermarket and it was in the afternoon. There was a lot of people there and I had to wait and I was in line. There was probably about 10 people in the line I was in. It was a very busy day. And I started chatting with the lady behind me. I think it was about the weather that day. She was saying something about how it was so nice and leaves changing color. Just idle talk while we were waiting in this line. And a young woman, I'd say she was about 24, 25 years old, dyed jet black hair, some tattoos on her neck. Like I said, about 25 years old, with a young child, obviously her daughter, had to be about 10 or 11. Um, and they walked up and proceeded to look at me and then cut right in front of me and cut right in front of the line. And I was kind of amazed. So I look and then I look back at the woman I'm chatting with and I was like, like that. And I turned back, and as I turn back, I see the butt inner looking at me, like like if I'm going to say something or not. It's tell you the truth. I was just so taken taken off guard that I didn't know what to say. Uh, I got to be honest. A lot of times, I told you guys this before. I grew up with women, and I've always, been taught to respect women, probably to a fault. And I tend to get angry a lot less. Something a guy would do would get me angry a lot faster than if a woman did it. Like if somebody cuts in front of me in traffic, I would get angry a lot faster with a guy than I would with a woman. And that might have been the case. So I just turned back, because now I'm wondering, what? It didn't, I had a lot of stuff on my mind these days, and I just wasn't in the mood to even bother questioning it. And then it was so obvious that I had to ask myself, well, maybe somebody was saving the spot for her, because it was just beyond, it was just so blatant that I almost assumed that there was a reason she was butting in front of me. So I look at the woman behind me that I was chatting with because I feel bad now, because I'm willing to let this slide. I just don't care. I'm not in that big of a hurry. There's more important things in my world than having this woman, taking 5 extra seconds of my time. And I told the woman behind me that, and I said, if you have, if you want to speak up or you want me to speak up on your behalf, I will. That's what I said to the woman behind me. And she's just, she was kind of in shock too. All right. So we just proceeded to move on with her in front of us, the 25-year-old Gen Zer and her young daughter. Okay. So I thought that would be the end of it. Yesterday morning, I go back to the same store and I'm in a different line and I hear people yelling. I hear some guy yelling. And this is basically, I'll cut to the chase here. She was at it again. She had cut, it was the same woman with her child that had obviously cut in front of somebody else. And this guy wasn't having any of it. He started screaming and the security came. And the Gen Zer who butted in started saying that some mysterious guy let her in. She kept saying, "This guy let me in. He told me I could go in front of him." When I knew, I'd seen her just do this 5 days earlier, and at that point I knew she was full of it. She was like a chronic line cutter. And this guy, this big chubby guy was having none of it, and they were almost ready to escort him and everybody, the two of them, out of the store. And it eventually calmed down, and you could still hear the young lady, the chronic line cutter, complaining to the cashier. She's like, this is ridiculous. You're singling me out. This is this is wrong. And in the back of my head, I just seen her do the same thing. Okay, so she leaves the store, and I hear the cashiers, because I'm in a line over, and I hear the cashiers talking, and I hear some other patrons talking amongst themselves, and they have seen this woman do this over and over and over and over again. She's a chronic line cutter. This is just what amazed me. The thing that struck me is, what is this teaching her daughter? It seemed, I felt bad for her daughter. It's going to lead to nothing but, I'm not a parent, so I almost feel I'm talking out of turn by saying this. And I had to ask myself, is this just one woman and the way she was raised or not raised? Is it a generational thing? Is it all the above? It was so obvious with what she was doing. Is it a mental health issue? Is she doing this for attention? I'm not trying to make excuses here. Oh, she's sick. We gotta, she's sick. We should let it slide. No. I'm just trying to figure out. It's just so blatant, and it seems like just to cut in line, it seems counterintuitive. Like it would bring so much more trouble into your life by cutting into all these other people just to save an extra 2 minutes waiting in line. It seems like there's not enough of a reward out of this. Is it just for attention? Is it a generational thing? Is she sick? And what's it teaching her kid? I felt bad for the kid most of all. This kid's going to grow up thinking that it's okay to treat other people like garbage, like they're, to cut in lines. And it's going to lead to nothing but trouble. I'm curious I've never seen something like this before. Like I said, it almost reminded me of like a kleptomania situation where some people are compelled to steal. It seems like this young lady was just compelled to cut in front of other people. Let me know in the comments, please. What do you think about this and the daughter? All right. I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a good Saturday.